Well, August is done and it feels like summer is officially coming to an end. And so today I have for you our August 2021 budget report. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel we talk all about life and budgeting and how you can enjoy life while still being able to accomplish financial goals through the use of a budget. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then scroll down and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any new videos. And because I'm a huge fan of budgeting, I share my personal household budget here on YouTube. Every single month, I'll sit down and share with you our plan for the month, and then I'll do a video like this where I sit down and share with you how our budget actually went, which is, in my opinion, the more fun one because it's more fun to see how your plan actually went with like your spending for the month. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. And I will say that as I was finishing out our budget for August, honestly, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. I think that our last few months, we've been a little bit off on budgeting, and this month, I think we did really well. So I'm excited to share these positives with you guys, as well as our net worth update, which is a fun thing that we also track. But before we get into it, I want to let you know that the budget template I will be using and showing you is one that you can get yourself on my shop, and I will have a link to that in the description box down below. You can get that on my Etsy shop. It's an instant download, works in Excel, Google Sheets, all the things. It's yours to keep for forever, so you can check it out there. And without further ado, let's look at our August budget. So the first thing that we have here in the budget template is our income. So we have Jacob's income and then my business income. If you are new around here, our household is made up of my husband Jacob, myself, and then our 15-month-old son Peter. My husband Jacob works in marketing and his job is 100% remote, so he works out of the office in our home. So he does bring home a paycheck for our household. As far as my work goes, I am a stay-at-home mom with my 15-month-old son, and then I do YouTube here and have my online business. So that's what I do while Peter is napping, like right now, filming this video, and anytime he's asleep, I work. So that is the business income that I have, and then I have Jacob's income blocked out just for privacy and for the privacy of like Jacob's employer and everything. So, but I do show you we have other income this month. This is $300 from the child tax credit thing that's happening. And let me know if you're getting that money as well. Because yeah, we got another $300 for that as expected. So our total income is $7,137 of what we actually took home. I will also say that this is our take-home pay. So this is after taxes and other deductions. We pay for our medical insurance through my husband's employer, so that gets taken out of his paycheck, as well as 401k contributions. We are working on maxing out Jacob's 401k, so we are contributing a large amount to the 401k, and that's deducted out of his paycheck. So what you see here is after all of those deductions that we have to work with. So we use a zero-based budget, which means all of our income equals all of our expenses and savings, like all the money out. So now to show you how we spent or saved every single dollar here. Let's get into it. The first thing that we have is normal expenses, and so this is our tithe. We are Christians and we believe in giving to our church and other organizations. This has always been something important to us in our budget. So the first thing that we have here is our tithe to our church, and we gave $720 to our church this month. Next, we have African New Life. We support 2 children in Rwanda through African New Life, and that was $78 this month. And then missions. We support an additional missions organization for $40. Next we have is our mortgage, which is at a standard $2,220.50. This includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So all those things make up our overall mortgage payment, and that was 30% of our take-home pay after taxes, retirement, insurance, deductions, all those things. Next we have is our HOA. We live in a neighborhood with a homeowners association, and so we do have to pay that fee. Someone asked me recently in a comment our experience with an HOA. It's been totally fine. We haven't had any issues for us having the HOA, but I do appreciate like having an HOA means that my neighbor's house is going to look good outside, or like people can't park their car in their front yard, you know, those sorts of things. I'm totally fine with paying the HOA. They also included in that is like landscaping. They do the landscaping in the front of our homes, which is also a really nice benefit. So $121.46. Next we have is water sewer at $101.77. This is a little bit higher this month. It's normally right around like 95, but not that much higher. I think this is probably due to the fact that it was summer and we've been filling up a kiddie pool in the backyard for Peter for playing. So we've been using a little bit more water, but again, 95 to 101, it's not that much more. Next we have is natural gas, which we budgeted 40, but we actually spent 18.32. And natural gas is what we use to heat our home, and it's also what we use for our stovetop and oven, so for cooking. And obviously, since it's the middle of summer, or I guess now it's the end of summer, but this was, I guess, July's usage that was paid out in August. And we only spent 18.32 because we're not heating our home right now. Next we have is trash. We pay our trash every other month. This month was a trash month, so that was 58.72. And next we have is electric, and this was a bit high. I've only budgeted 70 and it was 108.04. This was maybe our highest electric bill so far. We have central air. We live in Portland, Oregon. I don't think I've shared this. We're homeowners in Portland, Oregon. And so our weather is pretty mild, honestly. But during the summer, you know, when it gets to be 90 every day or so, like we're going to be running our air conditioner. So definitely had an increase in electric usage this month, but that's okay. Like we're gonna run our air conditioner. Next we have is internet at $44.99, which is a standard there. And then our phones, this is for my phone and Jacob's phone at $109.59. Next we have is insurance, and it looks like this went up just a tiny little bit. It was normally $109.64, but now it's $110.16. This is car insurance for both of our cars. We have a 2013 RAV4 and a 2013 Corolla. Why did I say 2013 and then 2013? I do not know. Okay. Next we have is life insurance. We have a term policy on myself and my husband Jacob, and that is $52.89 each month. Next we have is groceries, which we budgeted $350 and we spent $397.39. So we were over by $47. But if you guys have been watching my videos for the last few months, then you know we've been over on groceries every single month. And I've shared this, but I think it's all due to the factors of we now have a 15-month-old who eats more food. We also are experiencing inflation, so the cost of groceries has gone up. And so we've just been over budget quite often on groceries. This month I did budget a little bit less because we went on vacation for a week. We went to Hawaii, which was an amazing time at the beginning of August. And so I normally would have budgeted like $400, but since we were going to be gone for a week, brought it down to $350, but we spent still almost $400. So what I like to use as my rule of thumb is like $150 per person per month. And I've tried to stay really far under that, but I think we're just getting to the point like I just need to accept my own like rule of thumb and just budget like $450 a month for groceries, which seems like so much because when it was just Jacob and I, like 2 years ago, we were spending $200 on groceries, like no more than that. So it definitely has gone up, and that's just crazy to see. But that's okay. The next line item that we have is eating out. We budgeted $150 and we only spent $101.29. So right there's basically the difference between groceries and eating out. We did less eating out. So maybe we should have used that up. Next we have is gas. We budgeted $100 and we spent $104.39. This is another line item that we're having to increase because the cost of gas is also going up. We used to spend like $50 a month on gas, but now we're looking at $100. And like I said, my husband Jacob does work remote, and then I work from home and stay home with my son. So we don't do a whole lot of driving. This is just basically us running around town. But it used to be like $50 when we were in the middle of the pandemic, and now as we're doing a few more things, it's a little bit more, but the cost of gas is also going up. So that's another factor. Next we have is fun, and you know us, the extremely fun people here. We budgeted $50 for fun and we spent $10.20. I think most of that was parking when we went to the zoo. I think we went to the zoo twice in August, and that was parking. Next we have is miscellaneous, which we budgeted $150 and we spent $146.50. So that's like perfect. You always need a miscellaneous category because there's always random things that come up or things that you don't have a specific category for. So having a miscellaneous category is very important. Next we have is Peter. So every month we are transferring over $50 to put into a brokerage account that we are investing for the future for our son Peter. We have this brokerage account in our names, and the point of this is that we can use it for Peter for like helping him with his first car or a down payment on a house or a wedding or like those fun things in life. And we want this to be our money because we want to be able to gift it to him, and hopefully he's working on saving money for all these things as well. But it's in our names, it's our money, but the point is that we want to be able to gift it, if that makes sense. So we put $50 a month into that. Next we have is college. We also are contributing $200 a month to Peter's 529 college savings account. So All of these expenses together was $4,794.21. And you guys, we were actually under budget on all of our normal expenses by $22. Which one has that happened? It hasn't happened in so long. So that's what I mean. I'm so proud of us that we've been under budget. Like, we did great. Okay, next we have is our savings section of the budget, which I love. So the first thing that we have is our emergency fund. We keep our emergency fund in a high yield savings account. Earns a tiny little bit more interest than it would sitting in a regular savings account. So this earned $11.67 this month. So we now have $20,047 in our high yield savings account for our emergency fund. Next we have is Jacob. This is our personal spending money. As you can see, Jacob gets $250 and I get $100. The reasoning behind that is because Jacob's more of a spender and I'm more of a saver. I would rather more of our money go towards like investments and like bigger financial goals, whereas Jacob really wants to be able to enjoy that money, which is fine. So that's why he gets substantially more than I do, because I just don't spend as much money. So Jacob also spent a lot of money. He spent $290. He's actually negative $119 in his fund right now. If you are new around here, the way that we work all of our sinking funds is I just take the grand total of all of these funds and keep that in one savings account, and then I use my spreadsheet to know how much is in each fund. So just because this fund is negative doesn't mean that I have a negative bank account. I know that there are many people who will have a separate bank account for each sinking fund that they're working on, which is totally fine. That's great. But that's just not the way that we work it. And even when I was like reconciling all of this, I was like, Jacob, do you realize that you're negative in your fund? He's like, yes, I do. So he's about to get more money on September 1st. He spent some money right at the end of the month, and just the way the months work, but I don't love that. Anyway, I spent $220. I actually bought myself a pair of AirPods. Do I have them here? No, I don't. I bought myself some AirPod Pros, which I really like, and yeah, happy with the purchase, but I did spend some money on myself this month. So I now have $267.80. Next we have is extra giving. We put $50 a month into an extra giving fund, and that allows us to say yes to additional giving opportunities if they come up. And so we now have $306.01 in that fund. We also have gifts, and so this is for any sort of baby shower, wedding, friend birthday, like any sort of thing like that. And we put $50 into that, and it's now at $65.96. Next we have is clothing, and we put $50 a month into a clothing fund. We spent $29.97. Jacob is obsessed with the Costco flannels, and if you saw our closet, we have so many flannels, and I don't know why he needs so many, but Costco was doing a sale, $10 flannel. So he picked up a few $10 flannels. Well, technically they're $9.99, you know. Okay, so it's now at $20.03. Next we have is vacation. We put $400 into the vacation fund, and this looks a little wonky because, like I said, we went on vacation this month. So let me share my whole story about this. We went to the Big Island with our 15-month-old son, Peter, as well as my family, my mom, my stepdad, and my sister. And we had an amazing time on that vacation because we had booked it earlier. There were a lot of these expenses that we've paid out of the vacation fund earlier in time. So we didn't spend a whole lot on this vacation in the month of August because of that. But there was one other thing that impacts our vacation fund. We were planning to go to Hawaii again in the month of October. We were planning to go to Disney Aulani. Jacob's turning 30 in October, so we were going to go for his birthday, and it was just going to be me, Jacob, and Peter. We had this booked for a few months, and we were really excited to go. But then we went to the Big Island with our family, which was amazing, but taking a toddler on vacation is hard. It's not vacation, and I'm so grateful that we had all the family help. Like, it was great, and we had an amazing time, but vacation with a toddler isn't like true vacation. And it's also a 6-hour flight, which is just really long. So there were a lot of things we learned during that trip, and because of that, and also just getting a vacation out of our system, like we were on vacation in August, and then we were planning to go again in October. Like, that's so close together. And then also with like things kind of shutting back down in Hawaii and everything, we were like, okay, we should just call it. Like, we're not gonna go on vacation again. Like, that seems to be like way too much to go to Hawaii twice in like, you know, a 2-month span. So therefore we had already had some things booked for that trip that we paid for, which we then canceled and got our money back. So that's why in the spent category, it's actually a positive number. like if we spent money, it should be a negative, but we actually spent money on our Big Island trip, and then we got money back from the Oahu trip that we then canceled, if that makes sense. So that's why this is a positive $314. I know that we're going to be able to go on vacation another time. Like, we'll be able to take Peter to Alani another time, and I don't feel sad about it because we just went on vacation. And I totally would go on vacation, like just the three of us. Like, you can take a toddler on vacation. You can do it. But since we had just gone on vacation, and then it's a little bit more difficult, we were like, maybe we should forego it for now. And that's totally fine. So right now we have $24.22 in our vacation fund that we'll use at some point to go on a trip again. Okay, next we have is Christmas. We're putting $100 a month into a Christmas fund to allow us to spend money on Christmas gifts, decor, all the things, because Christmas is going to be here before you know it, you guys. If you haven't started saving for Christmas, start now. Okay, so we now have $800 in that fund. Next we have is medical. We're putting $25 into a medical sinking fund, and that now has $28.84. We also have an FSA, which we're using that first to cover some medical expenses, and then if needed, then we can dip into our medical fund. Next we have is cord blood registry. So we do cord blood banking through a cord blood registry. When Peter was born, we had an amazing experience, and there's an annual fee associated with this that I have to pay at like Peter's birthday, and that kind of snuck up on me this year when he turned 1. So now I'm just creating a sinking fund for it, saving little by little every month, and then when his birthday rolls around, I'll have all the money in this fund and I can just make that payment. So $31 each month is what I need to save there. I will also have a link to cord blood registry in the description box if you want to check them out. Do cord blood banking. We had an awesome experience with it. And so that is now $93. Next we have is car maintenance. We put $75 a month into car maintenance. We spent $29.99 on some weatherproofing floors that were at Costco. That you have to like cut them yourself, but they're still nice, and as we're getting, you know, about to hit fall, like that was important. So $56.79 is now in that fund. Next we have is house maintenance. We put $400 a month into our house maintenance fund, and we spent $265.75. So we've been doing kind of like an overall organization project in our home, trying to get things organized because we didn't realize like how unorganized our home was. So our whole like living room and downstairs is all organized now, and we got a few things for that. I know that's not like actual house maintenance, you know, it's like we weren't fixing flooring or pipes or, you know, things like that. But we had a lot of money in this fund, and so we felt like we were just going to take a little bit of money out of it and do the things we needed to do to beautify the space and take care of that organization. So we now have an ending balance of $2,600. Next we have is household. So this category would include things like toilet paper, detergent, soap, all these things. And we put $100 a month into that. We spent $158.67, so we now have negative $21.71 in that as well. And then we have our baby fund. We put $100 a month into a baby fund. This covers everything that we need for Peter. So diapers, wipes, clothing, toys, any sort of thing that we have to get because we have a baby. So we spent $110.81 on this. So there was actually a Costco diaper sale going on in the month of August, so we stocked up on a couple things of Costco diapers, so that was a larger expense as well. So we're at negative $10.07. We also shouldn't now need to buy diapers for maybe, hopefully, the rest of the time Peter's in diapers. My garage is like stockpiled full of diapers. So next we have is our brokerage account. So this is our like big goal that we're working on putting every extra penny to right now. So we have a brokerage account, a non-retirement investment account that we're putting money into. We don't necessarily know exactly what this will be for, but I think along the lines, like maybe in a couple years, we'll use some of that to buy a new to us car. And then we want to save most of that for like long-term investments for retirement and things like that. So we budgeted to put $642.44 in there, and we actually put $611.96. I transferred $620 into the actual brokerage account, and so now we have a balance of $19.75 there. So all of our sinking funds totaled $23.42 that we got to save this month, and as you can see, our total out is $7,137, which matches our income. And I have a little cell here that calculates the difference, and there it shows it is 0, which is perfect. That means we have a zero-based budget. Every dollar got allocated. We're done with the month of August. So I also want to show you guys, though, our net worth update. So we are debt free except for our mortgage, and I loved during our debt free journey to be able to track like paying off our debt, but now we get to track our net worth growing, which is exciting. So let's take a look. Your net worth is made up of all of your assets, or the things you own, minus your liabilities, or the things that you owe, and then that number at the bottom is your net worth. So when someone says they're a millionaire, that means the difference between the things they own versus the things they owe is $1 million. We are not quite millionaires, but we'll get there someday. Okay, so first off, we have all of our assets, the things that we own. First, retirement, we put $1582.92 into retirement this month. So we now have an ending balance of $111,172 in retirement investments. So this includes like our 401k and 2 Roth IRAs. Next we have is our house, which went up $1,000. It's now at $535. I just look at Zillow to see what Zillow has to say our house is worth. I know that that isn't the most like accurate representation, but we had a broker's price opinion done on our house a few months ago, and what they came back with was within like $5,000 of Zillow. So I'm just going along with what Zillow says for tracking this purpose. I will also note that it only went up $1,000. I know that it's been a crazy year of housing prices rising, right? And so there's been months where we've seen our house value go up over 10 grand or something. So this month I was like, oh, only $1,000, which is just like, oh, that's probably makes more sense to be normal. Next we have is our emergency fund. Like I said, we have that in a high yield savings account with Ally Bank, so that's at $20,047. We also have a taxes sinking fund. We are putting aside money every month out of my business to put towards taxes because I plan that we will owe money at tax time. But don't worry, we are also deducting taxes obviously out of my husband's paycheck. We are deducting out of that the amount that we need to pay so that we don't incur any sort of like penalty or fees or anything like that. And then whatever we have left over to pay, we'll just use this fund. I know that some people have said in the comments below of like, why would you include this in your net worth if you're planning to like pay it back? I mean, that's totally a fair assumption, and it could be like not included in our net worth. That's totally fair. But I just don't know exactly how much we're going to use out of it. We could use 5,000, we could use 18. Like I'm not sure. So I'm fine with including it, and I know that when it comes to tax time, our net worth will take a little dip because we will spend this money. But this would be the same thing of someone who's just not planning ahead with their taxes who then owes money. Like how many times have you heard people that are like get to tax time and they're like, I owe $6,000, and then they need to take that out of their savings to pay. So it's kind of all the same thing. But I at least just have it like in my mind to know like, okay, we have this money sitting here and we will use that to pay our tax bill, which kind of feels good. I mean, that definitely feels good. Okay, next we have is extra cash. So this is the total of all of our sinking funds, so $6,530. And then we have Peter's 529. We put $200 into, so that is now at $3980.63. And then we have our brokerage account, which is now at $20,537. And then Peter's brokerage account, or the account that we have in our names, but for the purpose of Peter someday, is now at $4,106. We also have a Robinhood account for single stocks. This isn't my main investment strategy, obviously, but I just like playing around with this and owning a few shares of stocks and companies that I enjoy. So I actually have a referral link with Robinhood. I'll put that in the description box down below. If you use it, you get a free stock on Robinhood, which is awesome. And then I also get a free stock, but I now have $19.90 in my Robinhood account. So you can check that out. Again, not my main investment strategy, but it's just been fun. But it's just been cool to own stocks and companies that I like and just learn more about investing in that way. Next we have is our car values. So this is just tracked through Kelley Blue Book, and it looks like our Corolla went up a little bit in value. I know used car prices have just been also so wonky in the last year, but it's now at $97.30, and then our RAV4 is at $16,963. So both of those went up. So our total assets is $748,559. And our only liability is our mortgage, which we just paid the minimum of our mortgage this month. And so that balance is now at $387,425. So our overall net worth is $361,133. So our net worth went up $9,394 this month, which is great. I'm pleased with that. So that is a full look at our August budget recap. You guys, I'm gonna say I'm pretty proud of us this month. There were some months there where we weren't doing so great, but I think that this month we are getting back on track. We had an amazing vacation and just finishing out summer. I'm so sad summer's over, you guys, honestly. But I know that there will be some good things to come for fall, so it'll all be okay. But anyway, thanks so much for hanging out. Don't forget, if you want to get this budget template, I will have a link to it in the description box down below so you can check it out. And leave me a comment, let me know how your August budget went. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking.